Welcome back to Pragmatic Truth. I'm so glad you're joining me for episode 2. Today we'll explore how recognizing logical fallacies like false dilemma and hasty generalization can enhance your workplace communication. Let's dive in and see what insights Phil and Marie have for us today.
All right, everyone, buckle up. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something super practical, logical fallacies, those sneaky little reasoning errors that trip us up all the time, especially at work.
Oh, yeah, those sneaky little landmines.
Exactly. And our goal today is to equip you with the skills to spot them, dodge them, and become a sharper communicator and decision maker in the process.
Sounds like a plan. Where do we start?
Well, think of it this way. A logical fallacy is like a pothole in the road of a good argument. They can totally throw you off track if you're not careful.
Okay, I'm getting the picture.
So first up, we've got the false dilemma, which is like, when you're backed into a corner and given an impossible choice?
Oh, yeah, been there.
Exactly. It's that either-or situation where it seems like there are only two options, but in reality, there are way more possibilities. Like, remember that example from the article, that marketing meeting? The director's all stressed because the campaign flopped, right?
Right.
And they just blurt out, we either fire the marketing team or we admit defeat. Drama, drama, drama.
Talk about pressure.
Totally. But come on, is that really the only way forward?
Not at all. That's the false dilemma in action. Our brains, they crave simplicity, especially in high-pressure situations, so we latch on to the easiest, most obvious options, even if they're not the best.
It's like our brains go into survival mode.
Exactly. But the thing is, the director's totally skipping over a bunch of other possibilities. I mean, have they even looked at the data? Tweaked the strategy? Maybe the team just needs some extra training.
So it's about taking a breath and thinking outside those two limited options they try to box you in with.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to say, hey, what if we try this? Or, are there any other options we haven't considered? You might be surprised at what other solutions you can come up with.
Okay, love that. Now let's shift gears to another sneaky fallacy. The hasty generalization. Jumping to conclusions based on like one or two examples.
Oh, I know people who do that all the time.
Right. Our source gave that example about the new software implementation. The manager sees a couple of projects go over deadline, and they're like, this software is killing our productivity. Scrap it.
Oof. Yeah, I see where this is going. Classic hasty generalization. We see a couple of things that support our viewpoint, and suddenly it's the universal truth.
Exactly. They're forgetting about all the other factors that could be at play.
And that, my friend, is the danger of confirmation bias. We tend to remember and focus on information that supports what we already believe, but that can really warp our perspective. It's like saying, that restaurant's terrible, I went there once, and the service was awful.
Right. Maybe you just went on a bad night. Doesn't mean the whole place is doomed.
Exactly. Always got to look at the bigger picture.
Okay, so we've talked about false dilemmas and hasty generalizations, but what happens when these two bad boys team up? Double trouble.
Oh, yeah. Get ready for a logical roller coaster.
And that's exactly what happens in that remote work debate in the article, right?
Totally.
The executive sees a couple of remote workers missing their targets, and suddenly it's, remote work is a productivity killer. Everyone back to the office.
Classic 1-2 punch of flawed logic.
Break it down for us.
Okay, first, they're assuming those missed targets are solely because of remote work. Like, there couldn't be other factors at play.
Right.
Maybe those employees we're dealing with, like lack of support or other projects or just life stuff. Who knows?
It's a hasty generalization based on very flimsy evidence.
Exactly. And then, boom, they hit us with the false dilemma. It's either back to the office full-time or we're doomed. They're completely ignoring any middle ground, like maybe we need to provide more support for remote workers or reevaluate our communication strategies or any number of things.
This is why we're doing this deep dive, people. These fallacies, they're everywhere.
We are. But once you know what to look for, it's so much easier to see through them.
So how can we avoid falling into these logical traps ourselves?
Honestly, it all boils down to becoming a more critical thinker. Next time you hear an argument that makes you go, really? Stop and ask yourself, what's the evidence here? Are there other perspectives I'm missing? Could there be a different explanation?
Love it. It's about questioning those assumptions.
Exactly. Don't just accept things at face value.
So to sum up, we've got the false dilemma, forcing us into a corner with those limited choices, and the hasty generalization, where we jump to conclusions based on like one data point. But by recognizing these fallacies and thinking critically, we can make sure our arguments are rock solid.
Absolutely. And remember, it's a process. We all fall for these fallacies sometimes.
Totally. Nobody's perfect, but hey, the more aware we are, the better decisions we can make.
100%.
So next time you find yourself in a meeting or reading an article or even just chatting with friends, remember this deep dive. You might be surprised at how many logical fallacies you start to spot.
You'll be like, aha, I see what you did there.
Exactly. All right, everyone, that's our deep dive for today. Until next time, stay curious and keep those brains buzzing.
Welcome to Pragmatic Truth, fight the way, see the world clearer, starting the day. We laugh, we think, we spark the mind, better living, the joyful kind. Short chats, big thoughts, that's our groove. At Pragmatic Truth, we've got the move. Sharpen your view, brighten your day. Join us now, let's pave the way.